This video was filmed in front of a live studio audience. Hello again, and welcome to another TBR, because apparently I really like filming these now. As you'll see in my September wrap-up, which will be posted next weekend, I attempted to stick to my TBR for September, and then I went down a teenage angst rabbit hole and spent 3 weeks reading all of my high school favorites. So, we're gonna try not to do that this month. So, without any further ado, we can go ahead and dive right in. The first book that I am hoping to get to, and I'm already like 100 pages into, is Jade City by Fonda Lee. It is a mobster-inspired fantasy book. And even after reading about 100 pages of it, that's really all I know. The magic system is based on jade and martial arts, and so far I'm really digging it. The next on my list is a book that I haven't gotten yet. I have on order at the bookstore that I work at, and that is I Come With Knives by S.A. Hunt. I Come With Knives is the sequel to I Burn the Dark, which I read last Halloween as part of I wanted to get more into horror experiment, and actually ended up really loving, so I've been waiting for I Come With Knives to come out in paperback so I can actually afford to buy it because my library doesn't have it, but that's another story. It's so sassy and so sarcastic, and I loved the first one so much, and I'm very eager to read the sequel to it. Me, excited about a horror book. Who knew? The next on my list is Avatar: Rise of Kyoshi, book 1. My roommate got both of them for her birthday. I have the first one on my e-reader, and I've been meaning to read it for a while, and she keeps telling me, no, you really... The next couple are ones that I'm going to pick up from the library once I get through the small stack of books I have in front of me, but I ended up putting them higher on my list because I think I'm more excited to read those than the ones I currently have. But that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I didn't hate the first one, and I was interested to see where it went because apparently it got better. After that, I was planning on picking up Crimson Campaign by Brian McClellan, which is the sequel to Promise of Blood, which I did read this month, but you'll hear more about my thoughts in my wrap-up. Next on my list is actually a contemporary called The Big Finish. I don't remember who the author is, I apologize, but I was on a list of books that were coming out this year, and this one was about two guys in a nursing home who get sprung by their 20-something granddaughter and go on a big road trip together, and for some reason that just really resonated with me and sounded quirky and funny and maybe heartwarming all at the same time. The next one is Christopher Paolini's newest one. Christopher Paolini, if you're not familiar, wrote Eragon, which I absolutely adored from the time it was published, and that is a story I will get into later. But even though it is literally just A New Hope only with dragons, I still have a very fond place in my heart for this book series. So I'm going to pick up his new one, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, which apparently is some 800-page sci-fi epic with kind of middling reviews, but hey, I'm, like I said, living that teenage angst phase, so might as well try something new and branch out a little bit. Continuing with my I'm going to attempt to read horror books like a normal person in October phase is Gideon the Ninth. This is Lesbian Necromancers in Space. It's also a gothic horror mystery. I did try reading this last year before the book was published. Got about 100 pages to the end of it and was really struggling to get through it because I don't know if I've mentioned this, I'm sure I have. I'm not a huge fan of mysteries, but everybody has been talking about this book since it came out, and everybody's been loving it. And then the sequel just came out, and the sequel apparently is supposed to be a bitch to read because you don't understand what's going on from more than half of it. For some reason, that kind of sparked my inner, well, I bet I could. So now I'm rereading this one. It's supposedly going to be a buddy read with one of my friends, but I don't know if she's picked up her copy yet. So I might just read this one and send it to her and say, hey, read it. But I also have the sequel on hold at the library, but I figured I might as well read this right around the same time as I Come With Knives and maybe make a Halloween reading vlog out of it. You never know. That, and I found the audiobook for this on Scribd, and I've been super into audiobooks lately, but more on that later. The next on my list are carryovers from last month that I didn't get to because, again, went down my teenage angst phase, but I really do actually want to read, and they are in no particular order. Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, which I'm about 3 chapters into, and then the audiobook quit working on Scribd, and I got really annoyed because I was really enjoying what I read, and again, audiobooks are my thing lately. Another thing I never thought I'd say. Then in the spirit of sci-fi, because Sleep in the Sea of Stars, and also this is a TV show I want to start, Leviathan Wakes, which is The Expanse Book 1 by James S.A. Corey. The next is actually a nonfiction one that I'm hoping to get an audiobook version of, but that is The Spy and the Traitor by Ben Macintyre. And then finally on the carryovers from last month, I have 2 more, one of which is on my e-reader, and that's A Memory Called Empire, which full disclosure, I'm still exactly 100 pages into. And last from the carryovers of last month is Ancillary Mercy by Ann Leckie. I went to a bookstore the other day and spent like 45 minutes just meandering around the sci-fi section, and I found this one, which is called Deal with the Devil. It is part of the Mercenary Librarian series. It's book 1. I don't actually know if it's going to be a series or not, but it sounded fantastic. And then finally, because, you know, there haven't been enough books on this TBR, there, of course, is the mystery book, which who knows what it's gonna be. That's why it's a mystery. I'm really killing it today, guys, aren't I? So we're gonna dig around. Hopefully it's something good, because I don't think I even picked up Companions in Conflict this month. I still have all of October to get to it, but it ain't looking good. So, here we go. What is it? Oh, Briefcases. It's a Jim Butcher book. Is Briefcases by Jim Butcher. This is a series of short stories that he did that goes with his Dresden Files universe. I have not read any of his Dresden Files. I am on the fence because I've heard mixed reviews about him, and the negative reviews that I have heard are kind of what are steering me away from him. Mostly that he's not exactly sexist, but he's definitely a male, and there's only so much of that I can take in my life. So we'll give Briefcases a go. Like I said, it's a series of short stories, and those are generally a little easier to get through, so we'll see. And hey, if I haven't read it by the end of November, then that's it. No more. But yeah, let me know down below what you plan on reading, as I would love to know, and I will see you guys soon with another video. And feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see. Bye, guys. My vain attempts at hiding Harry Potter, because while I love the stories, J.K. Rowling can just go jump in a lake full of piranhas. And besides, I wanted to feature The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I've already read and fallen so much in love with, and y'all need to go read that. It comes out October 6th. This has been a PSA.